Okay, guys, we are in Algebra 2, Mod 8. We made it to Friday. You've had a couple days off from homework here. Yesterday, remember, we introduced you to trig ratios and did the old SOHCAHTOA idea. Today, Friday, April 24th, again, Friday, 4/24/20. Important day of notes to get this copied and in your notes, and again, ready to roll for the really good stuff we got coming tomorrow. So in the top left corner, 4/24/20, only put for the title, Using Trig Ratios. If you do remember yesterday and you have a good reference sheet ready to go, we did talk about sine, cosine, and tangent, good old SOHCAHTOA. In fact, up there where you've got using trig ratios, go ahead and put a little arrow and in quotes, write that word SOHCAHTOA again. SOHCAHTOA. Okay. SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. Sine opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent opposite over adjacent. Write that word down. And in our notes today, all I want you to do, front of our paper only, nothing on the back, divide your paper into 4 equal blocks or sections. And we're going to attack one little idea in each block, and we'll be done before you know it. It's a real simple day using trig ratios. It's just going to introduce things to us and get us ready for tomorrow. Okay? All right. Go to block number 1. Only focus on that block for now. So ignore the other 3 blocks. All we're really looking at in block 1 is you drawing a right triangle. So go ahead and draw a pretty tall left side, then an average looking bottom side, and then remember the word hypotenuse connecting up those corners. My right angle's in this corner, and we're going to call this triangle RMQ. So of course we've got side Q over there, side R down here, and if angle M is the 90-degree angle, then side M is our hypotenuse. Agreed? All we're going to practice doing today is using the formulas that we learned yesterday from SOHCAHTOA. So in this block, we're going to look at the 2 non-right angles and use them as reference angles. I want you to write down these 6 little questions. The sine of angle Q, cosine of Q, tangent of Q, and then we'll find the sine of angle R, the cosine of angle R, and the tangent of angle R. All right, here's all we got to do today. Ready? I want a nice, neat, well-done day of notes because, guys, your homework is simply going to be take a picture of these notes when you're done and have everything on your paper organized and done correctly, and you're going to get 5 points. You're going to get 5 out of 5 for your daily grade just for sending me an email of a picture of these notes once they're finished. So follow along, take good notes. When you're done, take a picture, email them to me, and you're done for the day. No real homework problems to do until Monday, again, when we get to the good stuff, okay? All right, here we go. It says sine of angle Q. Obviously, there's the letter Q, isn't it? Everybody take your pencil or your pen and put it on angle Q. Since it said the sine of angle Q, we put our pen on angle Q and use that as the reference angle, the angle we're referring to, the corner we're starting at. And guys, what's the formula for sine? Okay, remember SOHCAHTOA? Sine is what? Opposite over hypotenuse. So what's the opposite side? Wouldn't that be Q? Over, and then the hypotenuse is what? Always the side that's across from the right angle, isn't it? So do you agree on this picture? The hypotenuse is side M. Oh, so the sine of angle Q is Q over M. Piece of cake. What about the cosine of angle Q? Well, once again, they're telling you to go to angle Q. The formula for cosine is what? Adjacent over hypotenuse. Remember, adjacent is the side right next to it? or right beside it. So the adjacent side is R and the hypotenuse is M. And finally, the tangent of angle Q. What's the formula for tan? Isn't it opposite over adjacent? It does not involve the word hypotenuse. Tangent is always what? Opposite over adjacent. So in this case, it'd be Q over R. Now, the only difference between those three and the three we're about to do, now they want the sine of angle R. So now you start up and refer or focus on angle R. And again, now that we know our formulas, let's go a little quicker. What's the formula for sine? Opposite over hypotenuse. So you would write what? R over M. Think with me. Don't just copy. I want you thinking right along with me. Cosine of angle R. Again, I'm up here on angle R. What's the formula for cosine? It should be what? Adjacent over the hypotenuse. So that'd be Q over M. And the tangent of angle R, there's R. Tangent is what? Opposite over adjacent. So it'd be R over Q. We're just using trig ratios to find our formulas, okay? All right, go to block 2. Again, draw a right triangle. Kind of a big left side, an average second side, and then a hypotenuse connecting them up. This triangle is WNB, and they gave us numerical values now for the sides. This side's 3 inches long, this side is 4 inches long, the hypotenuse is 5 inches long. And we want to attack the next 6 questions. Now watch how quick you can do this once you know your formulas. It says sine of B. Right here is angle B, isn't it? I'm circling it. Look. What's the formula for sine? Opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite over hypotenuse. So that's 3 over 5. Big deal. Cosine of angle B. Again, I go to angle B. Oh, but now what's the formula if it's cosine? It's adjacent over hypotenuse. It's the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. So do you agree that would be 4 over 5? And tangent is what? Opposite over adjacent in that order. Again, opposite over adjacent, 3 over 4. Sine of W. Now we're going to angle W. It said go to angle W. Go to the angle it tells you to. That's your starting point. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, giving me 4 over 5. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, giving me 3 over 5. Tangent is opposite over adjacent, 4 over 3. So we're just practicing finding the correct ratios or fractions based on the reference angle they give you. And the other thing we want to practice today, and then we're done. Okay, last thing, there'll be no homework over the weekend other than to shoot me a picture of these notes when you're done. Get your calculator out. No matter what calculator you have, guys, first thing I want you to do is hit the mode button. And notice, I'm glad I did that, because when I hit the mode button here, my calculator, if you go down to the third line, has to be on degrees. So I'm going to hit enter. I don't want to be on radians. I want to make sure I'm on degrees. Okay, so we're going to be in degrees the whole unit. And just to practice using our calculator and getting correct answers here, I want to know what's the sine of 26 degrees. You literally type in what you see. Sine 26. Hit enter, and we get 0.438. I always want to go to 3 decimal places when I use my calculator like this. Okay, make sure you're getting that on yours no matter what kind of calculator you've got. You've got to have one. Cosine 58 degrees. You hit cosine 58. Hit enter. I'm getting 0.5299, so it's really 0.530. Make sure you agree with me as you type that into your calculator. And tangent of 80, hit tan 80, hit enter, and I'm getting 5.671. So just make sure you can push buttons right and find the values of sine, cosine, and tangent if given the angle. And then the last thing we can do on our calculator, what if we're looking for the missing angle? Careful here, guys. Stay with me. Listen to this. This says the sine of A equals 0.735, so angle A equals blank. We want to know how big is angle A. Okay, listen to this statement. If you're ever looking for a missing angle, you've got to hit the second function button on your calculator, the inverse button. Okay? So on my calculator, I've got it right here. Look. It says sine A equals 0.735. I'm not going to hit the sine button. I'm going to hit second sine. Again, I hit second and then sine because I'm looking for a missing angle. That means inverse sine. I'm working backwards. I don't know how big the angle is. I'm trying to figure out how big the angle is. So second sine, and then what was our number? 0.735, and I get 47.3. Now, since it's a missing angle, to the nearest tenth is fine. So angle A is 47.3 degrees. So let's try another one. The cosine of W is 0.386, so angle W is blank. I'll say it again. If you're looking for a missing angle, you gotta hit the second function button. So don't hit cosine and then 0.386. Okay, we don't know how big the angle is, do we? So we're hitting second cosine, 0.386, and getting 67.3 degrees? And finally, I wonder how big angle Q is. I'm looking for a missing angle, so I hit second tan, 1.734, and I get 60.02, so basically 60 degrees. Okay? So guys, a nice second day of introducing you to some trigonometry basics. We can use our calculator. We can set up proper fractions. We know SOHCAHTOA. And with this background in place, I think we're now ready to attack solving missing pieces of right triangles on Monday, okay? So your job, take a nice neat picture of this completed day of notes. Prove to me you took good notes and listened as you did this work. You get a 5 out of 5 for your daily grade just for sending me a picture of these notes. There's no real homework assignment where you're doing anything other than sending me the finished copy of this. So great job. I hope you're in good shape here. I'll see you on Monday when we start solving right triangles, okay? See you then.